Hey there! Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm seriously pumped you're here with us today because, well, we're gonna unpack something pretty mind-blowing. Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people seem to just effortlessly achieve their biggest dreams? While, let's be honest, the vast majority of us kind of stay stuck in the exact same place year after year? Well, today, we're shining a massive spotlight on a secret mathematical rule that literally dictates human success. It's super simple, but it is a total game changer for how you view your own potential. We're gonna break down the exact math of making it to the top, so let's jump right in, shall we? Just picture a really relatable scenario for a second. Think about how many people you know, or hey, maybe even yourself, who have confidently declared, okay, I'm going on a diet starting Monday, or I'm hitting the gym every single morning, or I'm finally gonna learn to speak Spanish, right? It happens all the time, especially around New Year's. Setting a goal is, well, it's the easy part. We get that sudden rush of motivation, we go out and buy the ridiculously expensive running shoes, we download 3 different language apps, and then they just sit there gathering dust on our home screens. But mysteriously, and frankly, kind of frustratingly, how many folks actually follow through? Why is the graveyard of unused gym memberships so incredibly huge?
Well, that exact mystery brings us right to the core of what we're talking about today. Enter the 4-2-2 rule. Now, this isn't just some random observation someone made up. It's actually the fundamental mathematical rule of human behavior and success. It's basically a cheat code, a formula that maps out exactly where people drop off on the road to achieving their goals, and more importantly, what it takes to be the one who actually crosses that finish line. This rule is going to give you a completely new lens to look through when you make your daily decisions.
Okay, let's really get into the weeds here. The 4-2-2 rule breaks the whole journey of success down into 3 simple, sequential, but absolutely crucial stages. Step 1, you notice the problem or the opportunity. Step 2, you act on it. And step 3, which is without a doubt the hardest part of the whole shebang, you continue doing it. Think of this like a roadmap. Every single successful thing you ever do in life, whether that's mastering a new skill, building a business, or totally transforming your health, it has to pass through these 3 exact checkpoints. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? But wait until you see the actual numbers. You'll see exactly why true, lasting success is so incredibly rare.
To really wrap our heads around how this funnel of success works, let's just imagine a big, everyday group of people. Picture 100 folks. They could be your neighbors, your coworkers, the people you pass on your commute. Now, they all have the exact same 24 hours in a day, right? They're all starting on an even playing field, just waking up, going to work, living their lives. This group of 100 basically represents society at large. Every single one of them has the potential to level up, to get healthier, to get smarter, to find success. But let's watch what happens to these 100 people when we hit them with that very first step of our 4-2-2 rule. Bam! Right out of the gate, we see a massive drop-off. Out of our starting group of 100 people, only 40% are even going to reach the first stage. So suddenly, we're down to just 40 people. And what exactly are these 40 individuals doing differently? Well, they're the ones who simply notice what needs to be done. They're the ones who look in the mirror and genuinely realize, hey, I need to change my habits. Or they look at their stagnant career and finally spot a real opportunity to grow. They're basically just awake. They're paying attention to the possibilities around them. Just let that sink in for a second. Just realizing that you need to wake up a little earlier, or acknowledging that there's a glaring problem in your life that needs fixing, that is the first major hurdle. And incredibly, 60 people out of our original 100 have already missed the boat. They're totally oblivious. They're endlessly scrolling on their phones, caught up in the daily grind, basically asleep at the wheel. They don't even know an opportunity exists. So honestly, if you're just aware of the things you need to improve in your life right now, huge congratulations. You've already separated yourself from 60% of the population. But, as you probably guessed, noticing is just the warm-up. All right, ready for the next stage? Brace yourselves, because we're about to drastically slash that number again. Out of the 40 people who actually noticed what needed to be done, only 20% of them actually take action. Yep, 20% of 40 leaves us with a shockingly low number, just 8 people out of our original 100. Going back to that gym analogy we talked about earlier, 40 people realized they needed to get in shape, sure, but only 8 of them actually bothered to put on their sneakers, walk through the front doors of the gym, and pick up a dumbbell. And man, doesn't this just brilliantly illustrate the harsh reality of human nature? Just look at this massive divide. A staggering 92% of people have totally dropped out before taking even a single meaningful step forward. They either never noticed the opportunity to begin with, or they did notice it and then instantly started making excuses. You know the ones. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Or I'm just way too tired today. Or it's just not the right time.
This huge divide is a serious wake-up call about how incredibly few people actually cross that critical line from just thinking about doing something to actually doing it. Most of the world, unfortunately, lives quite comfortably in that 92% zone of inaction.
But hey, here is where we pivot to something super uplifting. You've got to be so proud of simply starting. Think about it. If you are someone who actually takes action, if you actually buy the book and read that first chapter, if you lace up those shoes and go for that first kind of awkward, totally out of breath run, you instantly put yourself in the elite 8%. You've completely separated yourself from the pack. At this exact moment, you have every right to build massive confidence because you are actively doing what 92 out of 100 people literally refuse to do. You took the leap. That's huge. But hold on, the journey isn't quite over yet. We have to unveil the final ultimate stage, and honestly, this is the grand prize of life. Out of those 8 elite action takers who actually started, only 20% of them are able to continue. They're the rare few who maintain the habit when it gets boring, when it's pouring rain outside, or when life just gets incredibly chaotic. Now, 20% of those 8 people, that leaves us with just 1 or 2 people standing at the absolute finish line, out of our original 100. Just wow. Let that sink in for a second. 1 or 2 people out of 100 actually stick with it. So, let's see how this shapes your ultimate character by contrasting these 2 major milestones. Phase 2, acting, well, that makes you uniquely confident, right? Because you broke away from the norm and you proved you're a doer. But phase 3, continuing, that is where the real magic happens in life. By pushing through to become that top 1 or 2%, you open yourself up to grabbing absolutely countless, limitless chances in both your personal and professional life. And when you reach that rare level of consistency, what you feel isn't just confidence anymore. It evolves into this profound, immense sense of pride. You've mastered yourself. And honestly, that makes you virtually unstoppable. Okay, so how do we actually apply this and become that 1 or 2%? First things first, acknowledge reality. Most people around you will simply not make it past stage 2, so do not let their drop-off slow down your momentum. You've got to be prepared to walk alone for a little bit. Second, you absolutely must push through when the initial excitement totally fades. That steep drop from 8 people down to just 2, yeah, that happens right when the novelty wears off and the real gritty work begins. And third, keep your eyes locked on the ultimate prize. You have to deeply grasp the endless opportunities that are waiting for you if you just keep going. Remember, true success isn't just about the thrill of starting, it's about enduring when absolutely everyone else decides to call it quits. And this entire journey culminates in one powerful, undeniable mantra. Life is determined by the 4-2-2 rule. Seriously, everything you want to achieve boils down to whether you can reach stage 3 and whether you have the grit to stick with it. It's not about raw talent. It's really not about being born lucky either. It is literally just a mathematical game of noticing, acting, and most importantly, continuing. Let that mantra really fire you up today. Life is completely determined by the 4-2-2 rule.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought. Take a really close look at your own life right now. Think about your ambitious goals or those things you've been putting off for months, maybe even years. Are you currently stuck in the 60% who haven't even noticed the problem yet? Or maybe you're in the 32% who noticed but just didn't take any action? Or are you going to take massive pride in starting today and then be that 1% who pushes past the starting line, embraces the tough journey, and seizes all those endless chances waiting at the end? The roadmap is right in front of you. I challenge you to apply the 4-2-2 rule starting right now. So, are you ready to take that step?